Hi, I'm Sabrina, and you can call me Brin. I'm an intern doctor in Indonesia, and I want to share with you something deeply personal about me today. This is not just a medical video. This is the story of how I almost convinced myself that I had uterine tumor. How my own medical training become my curse and my strength. And how I discovered that sometimes the most important diagnosis aren't written in radiology report, they are written in the way your body cry for help. Today I'm talking about PCOS, but and now we're calling it PMOS. Do you guys heard about it? I'm sharing not just the medicine, but my trauma, the recovery, and what I've learned about the invisible connections between our minds and our bodies and our hormones. So let me take you back when it all started. I've always passionate about OBGYN since I was in co-assistant. There's something about that field that called to me. Like, I was so excited to finally be doing my clinical rotation and to be finally, like, today being an internship doctor. But then one day everything changed. I had this sharp sudden pain in my upper pubic or suprapubic area. It is right above the pubic bone. It felt so painful that I almost think like, am I having uterine contraction? But I never had a dysmenorrhea or pain when I had my period or before my period came. So I rushed into my uh, puskesmas USG room to get my own uterus checked by myself. So when this pain hit, my doctor brain immediately went to overdrive. I'm so scared. So because I have access to the ultrasound room, and I had actually attended an OBGYN ultrasound workshop to check and get checked, and then I looked at my own uterus, and there it was. I clearly see that I have an hyperechoic mass on my uterus. In that moment, I didn't think about fibroid. Well, actually I did, but not just fibroid. Actually, my mind went wild and think the worst place, which is uterine tumor or myoma. Even I'm so afraid that maybe I had cancer. All these words started cycling around in my head on repeat. I was googling uterine fibroid. I was searching for the latest paper about it every second for a few days. I'm so terrified. So I did what any scared person would do. I called my mom. And my mom, being a doctor too, and she's amazing, she get me a radiologist, and she had a friend, a radiologist, and I went to see her. So the radiologist looked at my uterus, and she looked a bit concerned. And I remember thinking like, this is it. This is the moment in my life, and it changes. And I went to a dark place, I guess, and I'm burst crying. But then several days later, I went to OBGYN, and this is where the story gets a little frustrating, but also kind of funny in retrospect. And there was I'm lying on the room, and the OBGYN asked, have you had your period yet? And I remember saying, no, it is 2 weeks late. And she friggin' rolled her eyes at me like that. Like a fucking actual eye roll, like so boldly, like. And I remember she said like, just come back after you've had your period and get checked again. Like fuck. And then I left without any explanation, without answers, and I just like remember being so pissed, like. But I remember I didn't like. I almost give up. I almost like. I probably had any like. I probably only have 3 months left to live. It's so dramatic, yeah. But then my mom, of course, being a hero that she is, recommend another OBGYN, and this one is specialized in fertility, so I went to see him. Thank God he examined me carefully. He listened to my concerns, and then he said something along the line like, you have PCOS and you have endometriosis. Not a tumor, not a cancer, but something that would change how I understood my body forever. Okay, let's talk about PCOS, or now PMOS. Because yes, that terminology is changing and I think it's important. PCOS stands for Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome. But doctors have been realizing that this name is somehow like not accurate or medicinally accurate. Like not everyone who have PCOS have actual cyst or kysta. And also having polycystic ovaries doesn't mean you have PCOS. I know this is so confusing. So now there is a movement that PCOS is changed into PMOS, or polyendocrine ovary morphology, or what? Polyendocrine metabolic ovarian syndrome. So basically, PMOS is characterized by irregular periods, elevated androgens, insulin resistance, and ovulatory dysfunctions. But here's what people don't talk about. They don't talk about the why of it, like the cause of it. Nobody knows about the cause of it, but the only thing that we all know, almost 90% of PMOS women had a traumatic life. We're talking about trauma, so I need to be vulnerable here. Because I think it's crucial to understand not just my PMOS, but also my trauma. When I was 4 years old, I was molested by a pedophile. Yes, I had a childhood that is not really fun. I had a neighbor and he molested me. For years, I didn't connect this to my PCOS or PMOS. I thought PMOS was just bad luck or bad genetics, something that happened to my ovaries for no particular reason, or maybe something that being passed on. But my mom doesn't have it. And the research being more clear every year, and it said trauma, especially childhood trauma, has a profound effect on our hormonal system. And here's the mechanism. When you experience trauma, especially sexual trauma as a child, your nervous system gets stuck in a state of hypervigilance. Your amygdala, the fear center of your brain, becomes overactive, and your HPA axis, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis that regulate stress hormones, become dysregulated. And guess what? The same HPA axis regulates your reproductive hormones, which is androgen. When you're in chronic stress, your body prioritizes survival over reproduction. It elevates cortisol, it increases androgens, it disrupts the delicate balance of FSH and LH that control your ovulation. It sounds familiar, right? With the characteristics of PMOS. Another trauma that I had is I lost a dear friend to suicide. It is a major trauma in my 20s. It is, again, another dysregulation of my nervous system, another hit to my body that was already struggling to find its balance. I'm not saying trauma causes PMOS. That's not exactly what the science shows, but I do think that unprocessed trauma can worsen it. It can make your insulin resistance worse. It can make your inflammation worse. It can make your hormonal imbalance worse. And I think if you have PCOS, it's worth asking yourself, what is my trauma story? What's my nervous system trying to tell me? Because healing PCOS isn't just about metformin and exercises or changing diet, it's about healing your nervous system too. For me, that means therapy. It's meant learning to feel safe in my body again. It meant releasing the shame that comes with both the trauma and the diagnosis. And it's meant understanding that my body isn't broken, it's just dysregulated. And dysregulation can be healed. Okay, so fast forward to now. I've been on a journey, not a quick fix, but a real sustainable transformation. And I want to be honest, this hasn't been easy, but it's worth it. When I was diagnosed, I was about 78 kilograms, and I was carrying the weight that was partly due to the insulin resistance, and because when your body can't process insulin properly, it holds onto the fat, especially around your midsection. And then I made a commitment. I was going to move my body, not out of hatred for how I looked, but out of love of how I wanted to feel. I started going to the gym regularly, not obsessively, but consistently. I focused on strength training, which is actually better for PCOS than just a cardio, because muscle is more sensitive towards insulin. Muscle is a metabolically active part of our body. The more muscle you have, the better your body can produce and access glucose. And it worked. Now I'm down to 69 kilograms. It's a good number. That's 9 kilograms in a sustainable way I lost, and I did it while I still eating enough, still having a huge energy, even more energy, and still living my life in the best way. Because I think that's the thing about PCOS management. It's not about restriction, it's about eating in a way that supports your body and your muscle and your brain health. You do still need carbohydrate because your brain runs on glucose. Let's talk about nutrition because it's been so huge for me. One of the most evidence-based intervention for PCOS is increasing your protein intake, especially your breakfast. So try to hit the goal of 30 grams of protein on your breakfast. Research shows that high protein intake, especially in the breakfast, can stabilize your blood sugar throughout the day, reduce insulin spike, which is the core problem in insulin-resistant PCOS, increase satiety, you feel fuller longer, support your muscle development, and so many things. I started to take 30 grams of protein in my breakfast. It's a big breakfast, and I'm talking about eggs. One egg is 7 grams of protein, and so I almost like eating 4 eggs in my breakfast minimum. I also like Greek yogurt, protein powder, whatever I needed to hit that number. Yeah, and then throughout the day, I aim for total daily amount of protein of 69 grams, which is roughly 1 gram per kilogram of my body weight. a standard recommendation for someone doing strength training. Every single meal has become a protein inclusive meal, not obsessively though, but like thoughtfully. These changes alone made a difference in my energy levels, my mood, and my hormones. For 2 months before, recently started taking metformin. What is metformin? Metformin is a medication that increases your body sensitivity to insulin. It is one of the first line treatments for PCOS, especially if you have insulin resistance, which I do. It is not a cure though, it's a tool. Some people tolerate it beautifully, like me. Some people have GI side effects like bloating, vomiting, etc. And thankfully I started like losing that side effects for after 2 weeks of using it. But I'm not here selling you metformin as like a magic pill, but because it's not. What works is the combination of the medication, the movement, the nutrition, the nervous system healing, and the consistency. And here's the proof, like 2 menstrual cycle before now, I exactly get that period in 28 days after my last period, which is a huge deal for me. My period become regular and I'm so happy for it. If there's one thing that I want you to take away from my story, it's your PMOS or your PCOS, it is not your fault. You didn't cause it by eating too much of a sugar or carbs and not exercising. Blaming yourself doesn't help, but your responsibility, like taking responsibility for your body and how your body cries for help, that does help. And your body is trying to communicate. You just need to hear it more empathetically. Your body cries by when you have irregular periods, when you gain weight out of eating well. And your body does that not because it try to punish you. It is speaking to you. It is saying like something is out of balance and please help. Please help me. And something that I want you guys to know, that healing is not linear. Like I didn't go from diagnosis to recovery in a straight line. There were setbacks. There are hard days. There are like so hard to go to the gym, but you have to show up every day. And I want you guys to know that you deserve a good support system. You really deserve that. Whether that's a good gynecologist, whether that's a good partner, a kind partner, a supportive mother. Shout out to my mom. I don't want you guys to do this alone. I think I cannot do it without the help of people around me. And I had people that believe in me that I am not my diagnosis, and it's okay to not show up for one day, but you have to try it every day to show up for your body. And there is no such thing as a perfect recovery, a perfect usaha, and I'm not 100% consistent with myself. I have days where I ate a good dessert and I skip a gym, but that's okay. I have emotion and I have bad days. I have a stressed out days, but I'm still healing and I'm still succeeding. If you have PCOS, I see you. I really see you, and I know the frustration, the fear, the confusion about the disease. It's real, and I want you to know that you're not alone. I see you like grieving the fertility struggles, the thought of you not probably couldn't have children, the hair loss, the acne, the irregular periods. Your experience is valid and your body is valid, but the recovery is still possible. So if this video is resonated with you, please leave a comment down below. Share your PCOS struggles and journey. Also, maybe we can share another trauma story about you, and I hope we could be a friend for life. And then because we all deserve support, and thank you.